Welcome back to Wainsider, where we dive into the soul of professional wrestling, uncovering the stories that make WWE a tapestry of triumph, tragedy, and raw emotion. Tonight, we're grappling with a loss that's left the WWE Universe in mourning, a tragedy that's shaken the very foundation of the industry. Triple H and WWE have announced the heartbreaking passing of Rey Mysterio in a ghastly motor accident, a loss that feels like a punch to the gut for fans, wrestlers, and the Mysterio family. But this story isn't just about loss, it's about the emotional weight of Rey's legacy, the pressures he faced, and a shocking attack that adds a layer of complexity to his final days. Let's unravel the emotional history, the silent resentments, and the aftermath that will forever change WWE. To understand the depth of this moment, we have to go back to Rey Mysterio's roots, to the man who became the heart of Lucha Libre in WWE. Rey, born Oscar Gutierrez, was more than a wrestler, he was a pioneer, a high-flying icon who brought the spirit of Mexican wrestling to the global stage. From his debut in 2002, he carried the weight of expectation, not just as a performer, but as a symbol of his heritage. The mask he wore wasn't just a costume, it was a mantle, a connection to his uncle, Rey Mysterio Sr., and the Lucha Libre tradition. That pressure to honor his family's legacy was immense, a silent force that shaped every 619, every West Coast pop. Rey's journey in WWE was one of power, but not the kind that comes with titles alone. His power was in his resilience, his ability to defy odds as the ultimate underdog. At 5 feet 6 inches, he faced giants like the Great Khali and Brock Lesnar, proving size didn't matter when heart was on the line. But that power came with a cost. The constant need to prove himself, to live up to the Mysterio name, created a pressure cooker of expectations. Fans adored him, but there were always whispers. Some in the locker room saw his style as a novelty, a sideshow to the real heavyweights. Those silent resentments, though rarely spoken, lingered like shadows. Please like, share and subscribe for more WWE content. Dominic Mysterio, Rey's son, added another layer to this emotional history. Dominic grew up in the shadow of his father's legend, a kid who watched Rey soar while carrying the weight of being a Mysterio. When Dominic joined WWE, it was a moment of pride for Rey, but also a source of tension. Dominic's turn to the Judgment Day, aligning with heels like Finn Balor and Damian Priest, was a rebellion against his father's legacy. It wasn't just a storyline, it was personal, a son rejecting the path laid out for him. Rey never spoke ill of Dominic, but you could see the pain in his eyes, the silent resentment of a father who wanted unity but faced division. The pressure wasn't just familial, it was professional. Rey's role as a WWE Hall of Famer in 2023 came with the expectation to mentor, to uplift the next generation. He teamed with Dragon Lee, Rey Fenix, and others, passing the torch while still proving he could hang with the young lions. But that role wasn't without friction. Some younger stars, hungry for their own spotlight, saw Rey as a gatekeeper, a legend who took up space they craved. Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker, two powerhouses in the Vision faction, were among those who chafed under Rey's enduring presence. Their ambition, their need to break out, simmered quietly, waiting for a spark. Paul Heyman, the master manipulator, was that spark. As the oracle of the Vision, Heyman saw opportunity in Reed and Breaker's frustrations. He'd been part of Rey's story before, managing him in WCW, but his loyalty was always to power, not people. Heyman's whispers to Reed and Breaker weren't just about strategy, they were about stoking resentment, turning ambition into anger. The Vision, led by Seth Rollins, was meant to be the future, a new dynasty to eclipse legends like Rey. But for Reed and Breaker, it was personal, a chance to prove they were more than supporting players in someone else's story. Rey, for his part, never backed down. Even after a torn abductor injury sidelined him before WrestleMania 41, he fought to return, driven by a need to honor his fans and his family. His appearance at Worlds Collide, sporting a new beard and a renewed fire, was a testament to his resilience. But that resilience made him a target. The Vision saw Rey not just as a competitor, but as a symbol of everything they wanted to tear down. The silent resentment that had built over months, over years, reached a boiling point, and what happened next would change everything. Picture the scene. Monday Night Raw, the crowd electric with anticipation. Rey Mysterio is in the ring, addressing the fans about his recovery, his voice steady but tinged with emotion. Dominic is at ringside, his expression unreadable, a mix of pride and defiance. The Vision appears on the ramp. Seth Rollins smirking, Paul Heyman scheming, Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker radiating menace. The air is thick with tension, the kind that makes your skin prickle. Rey calls out the Vision, challenging their vision of the future, vowing to fight for his legacy. The crowd roars, but then, silence. The attack comes like a freight train. Bronson Reed charges, his massive frame crushing Rey with a tsunami that shakes the ring. Braun Breaker follows, a spear that carries the weight of Steiner Fury, leaving Rey crumpled. Dominic hesitates, torn, but doesn't intervene as the Vision lays waste. The crowd is stunned, some screaming, others frozen, as Heyman claps like a proud conductor. The assault is merciless, a statement of dominance that leaves Rey motionless. The screen cuts to black, and the WWE Universe is left reeling, unaware that this moment would be one of Rey's last. The news of Rey's passing in a motor accident, just weeks after this brutal attack, hits like a second blow. Triple H, the architect of WWE's modern era, took to X to express his grief, calling Rey a legend, a brother, a luchador who inspired millions. The accident, a horrific crash that claimed Rey's life at 50, was unrelated to the attack, but the timing feels cruel, as if fate piled tragedy upon tragedy. The WWE Universe is in mourning, tributes pouring in from CM Punk, John Cena, and even Dominic, who posted a simple black heart emoji on Instagram. The locker room is quiet, the weight of loss palpable. Backstage, the whispers are a mix of sorrow and speculation. Some say the attack on Rey was a breaking point, that the physical toll weakened him, even if the accident was unrelated. Others point to the Vision, questioning whether their actions pushed Rey to a vulnerable state. There's talk of guilt among the roster, wrestlers who respected Rey but stayed silent as the Vision rose. Triple H's decision to fire Reed and Breaker was swift, announced in a tearful press conference where he vowed to protect Rey's legacy. But some backstage argue it was too late, that the damage was done the moment the Vision crossed that line.